Hi Year 2, welcome to our next RE lesson. Today we're going to be learning about the menorah, but before we do that I want to go through with you what our theme is. So you might have noticed with Miss Baldwin your theme is caring for others, and with myself and Mr. Wernick we are thinking about the key concepts of Judaism. So why do we learn these key concepts, that main information about a religion? Why is it important for us to understand? Well, you might remember from our introduction that it's so important because when we understand, we can respect others. So when we understand the main ideas of Judaism, we can better respect those of the Jewish faith. Okay, let's jump in with a knowledge quiz. Now, to begin with, I've got 3 questions for you about Christianity. So we're going to be thinking to before Christmas, when you had your lesson with Miss Baldwin about baptism. Okay, those are the key concepts you learned about baptism with Miss Baldwin about Christianity. So let's start with those 3 questions. I'm going to read them out. Once I finish those 3, I want you to pause the video. So, number 1. Who baptized Jesus? Number 2, where was Jesus baptized? And number 3, true or false, baptisms have to take place when you're a child. Okay, pause me and answer those 3 questions, and when you're ready, press play. All right, let's move on. These next 2 questions are the ones that you covered in your last RE day on Judaism in year 1. So, question 4. Hanukkah is the Jewish festival of, is it food, light, or colour? You've got to choose one. And question number 5. Hanukkah remembers the miracle of burning. Was it burning water, burning oil, or burning trees? Again, pause me, write down your answers, and then when you're ready, press play. Okay, here are our answers. John the Baptist was the one who baptized Jesus. Jesus was baptized in the River Jordan. And the answer whether you have to be a child to be baptized is false. That can happen at any point in a Christian's life. Question number 4, Hanukkah is a Jewish festival of light. And question number 5, Hanukkah remembers the miracle of burning oil. Okay, great effort, everybody. Right, let's move on to our learning for this session. We are learning to understand the symbolism of the menorah. We're going to understand what the menorah is and understand what the menorah symbolizes. So our star words today, notice I've got a Star of David, which is the Jewish symbol, isn't it, for our star words. Ready? Menorah. And you can see the menorah is a kind of candlestick here. Candelabrum. That one is a bit of a mouthful, but a candelabrum, we're going to go through later, is a kind of candlestick. Synagogue. That is the Jewish place of worship. And symbol. Now that's the word we use if we're saying something represents or shows something. Okay, so a candelabrum is a candle holder. So maybe you recognize this little character here from Beauty and the Beast if you've seen that film. And that character was a candelabrum. He was a candle holder. Here's another example of a candelabrum. Now they come in all different shapes and sizes. And the one that we are focusing on today, the candelabrum that we are focusing on today, is a menorah. Now, a menorah is a Jewish candelabra, so it's a kind of candelabra. Now, some of them have 7 spaces and some of them have 9 spaces, and they're often seen in synagogues. So here you can see this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spaces. So there can be a difference between the two, which we'll go through later. But the main important thing is that it is used to hold candles, to hold lights, okay? And it's called a menorah. 1, 2, 3, menorah. Okay, right, so the menorah is a symbol. Now, I've actually got a menorah with me, which I am going to show you now. Okay, so here I have my menorah. Now you can see this is quite a small one. They come in all different shapes and sizes. And this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 branches with one on top, making it have 7 spaces. And can you notice what star we have in the middle, just at the base of the branches? It is the Star of David, which is the symbol of the Jewish people. So this, imagine if I had very little candles to put in here, would stand, and we would have candles up above, and then I would be able to use the middle candle. You might remember that from year 1, it's called the shamash. I would use this candle to light the others. It's like the helper light, and then I would place it back on top, and I would have my menorah all lit up. Okay, welcome back. So a menorah is a symbol, and it's a symbol of the burning that Moses saw on Mount Sinai. Now remember, a menorah is a candelabrum, so it's going to hold candles. So it will be a light with candles. Now this is something that God gave to Moses. This is in the Jewish Bible, the Jewish Holy Book. And the particular part of that you might remember from our introduction is called the Torah. And so it's when Moses went up, he climbed up this mountain. This is Mount Sinai in Egypt. And at the top of it, he met with God. This is the Jewish faith that they believe that Moses met with God at the top of this mountain. And Moses saw burning, he saw fire there. And God gave him a number of things up there when he spoke to him. One of the things he gave him up there were the 10 commandments, those 10 rules of how everyone should live their life. So things like do not murder, do not lie, always love God, those kind of rules. And another one of the things that God gave him up there was the instruction to have this menorah, this candle holder, which would show and represent the burning that Moses saw and when he met with God. Okay, so this is the part from the Jewish Bible in Exodus chapter 25, verse 31 and 32, when God told Moses to make a menorah. So 31, you are to make a menorah of pure gold. It is to be made of hammered work. Its base, shaft, cups, rings of outer leaves and petals are to be one piece with it. So it's all meant to be made from one piece of gold. It is to have 6 branches extending from its sides. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 branches. 3 branches of the menorah on one side of it and 3 on the other. And then we have that one in the middle, which makes this menorah have 7 branches. And it's only later that Jews now have menorahs which have 9 branches. And again, we're going to think about that a little bit later. But so you can see the original menorah was going to be made of pure gold. Now, nowadays, menorahs can be made of lots of different materials. But before we go on in our learning, I just want us to pause and think. Let's remember Moses climbing to the top of Mount Sinai and meeting with God, and God telling him to make a menorah. Why is the menorah an important symbol? Why is it important to the Jews? I've given you 3 different options. I want you to read each option, have a think, and decide which one is correct for why it's an important symbol. Pause and have a think, and when you're ready, press play. Okay, why is the menorah an important symbol? It's because it symbolizes when Moses met with God on Mount Sinai. It is very beautiful, but that's not why it's an important symbol. and it doesn't symbolize the mountain. It symbolizes where Moses met with God and saw the burning. Okay. Now here are some amazing inscriptions. Inscriptions are when people have carved into something to make a marking. And here you can see it was some in Saudi Arabia and some in Israel, where many years ago, people have actually inscribed into rock different writings, different writing. And you can actually see pictures of the menorah, so you can see how long the Jewish people have used menorahs. And you can see this one, these must be the old ones because they have 3 branches going out either side and 7 candlesticks in total. But what about the menorah today? Well, we know, particularly from our learning in year 1, that you use the menorah during Hanukkah. And this is when there are 8 branches in the menorah. You can see in these ones that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 9th on top, and the same is here. Can anyone remember why these menorahs have 8 branches? If you want, you can pause me and have a little think. It's because they symbolize the miracle of when the oil burned for 8 days. Do you remember that story of the warrior in Syria who was able to, and the light kept burning for eight days when there wasn't enough oil. So remember, that's what Hanukkah remembers, and that's why they changed the menorah slightly to have 8 branches instead of 6. Also, we'll see the menorahs in synagogues, which are places of worship. So here we have 2 different synagogues, and I think you should be able to spot the menorah there and the menorah there with someone actually lighting it with the candles. Okay, let's get into our independent task then. As you can see, this is what the task sheet will look like. I'm going to model what it looks like if you just have lined paper. But the idea is that we've got 6 different statements. We are going to need to sort them into true and false. And then with our 3 false ones, we want to write them as correct statements. So we're going to rewrite the fact correctly or truthfully. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'm going to begin by writing the date today is the 11th of the 2nd month, which is February 2021. I can just write 21. I'm going to use a ruler to underline it. And the first task needs me to sort those statements into true and false. So I'm going to need to write a table. Now, to do a table, I'm first going to do a line going across, and it's going to go across the whole page. And I can use the lines that are already there to draw along. And then in the middle, I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to make it go down to about here. I'm going to give myself lots of space to write in it. And on one side, I want to write true, which is where I'll write all my true statements. And here I'm going to write false for my false statements. So the first statement says that a candelabrum is a candle holder. Now you should be able to remember that a candelabrum is a candle holder and a menorah is a kind of candelabrum. So I'm going to put that into my true section. I'm going to name it number 1, and I'm going to say, write the statement out again. A candelabrum. Remember, if you need the spelling of that, then definitely check the task sheet. A candelabrum, very long word, is a candle holder. And these statements are written as full sentences, so I will write them down as a full sentence as well. Let's look at the next one. A menorah has 4 spaces. Now I know that a menorah actually is either going to have 7 or 9 spaces. So I'm going to put that statement in the false category. And I'm going to as well name this number 1 and say, but I'm going to write down the false statement that a menorah has 4 spaces. So A, capital M for menorah because it's a proper noun, has 4 spaces. spaces. Okay, now I would continue to go through my statements and sort them into true and false. Once I have finished that, the challenge is to use the word bank, which is on the task sheet. You can have a look at that, and rewrite the false statement. So I'm going to practice doing the first one with you here. Now the statement says a menorah has 4 spaces, but I know the truth, and this is when you're going to have to think, what is the truth? A menorah has how many spaces? There's 2 options. 7 or 9, and those words are in my word bank. So I'm going to rewrite the truth here. I'm going to label it number 1, and the second one I would label number 2, the third one I would label number 3, but this is number 1 that I'm rewriting. So I'm going to say a menorah, capital M for menorah, has, and instead of 4, I'm going to correct that and say 7 or 9 spaces. Or leaving this line because I'm writing normally now in my writing book, has 7 or 9 spaces. Okay, full stop. And we would carry on like that. Have a fantastic time doing this challenge and this task sheet, Year 2. Well done for all of your hard work, and we'll see you later.